been at it now. I'm coming up on, 3 years that I've really been pounding it out here. So,
okay.
yeah, and it was a fun transition. It's interesting. If you ever want to do something challenging, just move and leave and go somewhere else.
And have to build a business from scratch there, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So tell me, what percentage of your business is expireds right now?
Right now, I'm at about 7. I was 80% last year. This year, I'm about 70% expireds. If I go look through my listing inventory right now, I'm at about 70% expired listings.
So significantly heavy on the expireds, and that's pretty much what you focus on. The rest is just sort of happening from referrals and people you know. Is that correct?
Yeah, referrals, some internet stuff, agent referrals. I don't have a huge database here, which I'm slowly building, which is why I'm, reducing the amount of expireds that I do. But, it just takes time to build that. And expireds are just it's a very quick way, to start getting, I shouldn't say quick, it's a very strategic way to build a business. So.
Sure. And I'm guessing for those of you that are on the call that are new into real estate in general, that equates, to your business as well. You may not have that giant database, and it doesn't matter. You can have extreme success if you just focus on, like what Aaron did, focus on expired. So, Aaron, why don't you talk to us about kind of your typical morning? Like, how do you get launched? How do you set your day up? What does that look like?
You want me to start from the beginning?
Just the morning when you wake up.
Well, I wake up every day about 4:45 in the morning. I wake up early. I started waking up early just because I like the quiet of it, because I've got 3 children. I've got a 4.5-year-old, and now I've got 18-month-old twins and a wife, and it gets very loud. If I'm up at 6:30, I get no quiet time. So I wake up at 4:45 every morning, which is a struggle at the beginning, but I got that rolling. So I go do whatever I got to do, make my coffee. 5 o'clock in the morning, I sit down, I have my coffee, I sit and read about fantasy football or something for about a half an hour. Then I go upstairs, get a half an hour, 45 minutes of busy work done. Then I hop into the garage, get about 30 minutes of exercise in every day. It's not as much as I would like, but it's all I'm able to do. I don't really do it I do it to keep my mind clear. It's the only form of meditation I get every day. Then I go walk the dog, kiss my family, head out to the office. I'm in the office every day between 7:15 and 7:30. I prep for the morning. I pick up the phone at 8 o'clock. I lead generate typically expireds every morning. I call it the brand new expireds every morning from 8, and I lead generate anywhere from 8 to 10 or 8 to 11. Then from 11 to 1, I do pretty much administrative work. That's pretty much anything else you can pay someone else to do for you. Between 1 and 4, I run appointments, and typically I'm home every day right around 4 o'clock.
Awesome. You are getting more done by 11 a.m. than some people get done all day, I think. That is amazing. Why did you, I know you said because it's quiet at your house, but really that discipline to get up at 4:45, I mean, tell me about that, because I don't think a lot of us are doing that.
Well, honestly, the main reason I do it is because, I like quiet. And it's very hard to wake up when you've got you wake up, you hear yelling children, you're rushing. You haven't had an ability to kind of settle yourself. So it's like it started getting earlier and earlier. 4:45 is about my limit. I used to do 4 o'clock, but it's a little bit too early in the morning for me. But I really like it that it gives me the time with quiet where you can focus. Because the thing is, when you're up early in the morning and you do activities early in the morning, the day hasn't beat you up yet. So you really get the ability to get the important things out of the way. I could leave at 11 o'clock every day and know I've fulfilled my duties for the day. And I wouldn't feel good. I could feel good about it. I wouldn't feel good about it just knowing who I am. But if I left at 11 o'clock every day, I would feel phenomenal about my day.
That is huge, I think. I mean, imagine how satisfying that is, that at 11 o'clock, if you get nothing else done, you've at least gotten your habits or your commitment to yourself done. That's awesome. I love that.
I got my lead gen. I get my lead gen done. I mean, what I tell people is that you're supposed to love your career. Our career is real estate. If you don't love real estate, you shouldn't be in it. Okay? If you don't at least love the concept of real estate, lead generation is my job. All right? And I look at it. You don't have to love your job. I don't love my job. Do I like waking up at 4 o'clock, 4:30? No, not particularly. Do I like picking up the phone every day at 8 o'clock in the morning? Well, I kind of enjoy it. But the thing is, I do it because it's what I do to feed my family. And you do your job to put food on the table. So if you kind of shift that mindset, there's nothing fun and sexy about talking to people for 2 and 3 hours. You just do it because you got to do it because you got to put food on the table.
That's awesome. I love the differential you explained there between job and your career. That's great. So when you don't feel like doing it, because we all have that, right? I mean, I don't think you'd lie to us and tell us that you, every single time you pick up the phone, you're really psyched about doing it. You almost admitted that. Anyway, what do you tell yourself? What's the game in your head, or what's the language, or is there an actual game that you play with yourself? Or how do you do this every day? And if you don't do it one day, how do you get back on the train the next day?
Well, honestly, I don't get off the train anymore. It's part of my routine. Because what happens is I've got it so ingrained in my head that I can go and take 10 listings in a day, close 15 properties, and have like the best day of my real estate career. But if I didn't pick up the phone and lead generate for at least an hour, okay, let's say I have a bad day for at least an hour, I feel dirty. I feel like I ran a marathon in the Sahara Desert and didn't shower. I don't feel right about myself, and I feel like I've shafted my family. Because the only motivation that I need is I look up, I got pictures of my kids. And if I'm not doing it, I'm being selfish is the best way to put it. I'm letting my own frustrations get in the way of other people's needs.
Wow. Okay, good. I like that. I like that. So, expireds. Why did you pick expireds? And is that all you are calling? Are you doing any FSBOs, or are you doing any circle prospecting?
I don't do any circle prospecting. I dabble in FSBOs because right now I think FSBOs is a good time to go after it. It's just they're very hit or miss. I'm very strategic with the FSBOs. I don't call FSBOs just for the sake of calling FSBOs. I call the ones that I'm like, this one I want, and I'll zoom in on those and go after that. So if you got 10 FSBOs, I may go after heavily one or two. Expireds, that's pretty much my main one thing that I've always worked on that will always be a staple of my business, whether I'm doing it or I'm paying someone else to do it for me. It's just the way I look at it is these people have already committed to selling their home with a real estate agent. So they're just pissed off because the process was so bad because, you know, it just didn't work out. That's why I call it 8 o'clock in the morning, because the thing is people are like, oh, my gosh, how do you call it 8 o'clock in the morning? It's like I want to get them before the other 12 people because they're in a decent mood when you're the first person to call. Be that 15th person to call, they're ready to rip your flipping head off.
Right, right. This is true. Do you ever door knock, or are you just using the phone?
I just use the phone. I'm in New York, so I'm afraid if I door knock, I might get shot. But it's just, you know, my thing. I think door knocking, I'm not going to knock it. I think it's great for certain people. Just for myself, I feel that I can sit on the phone within 3 hours and call 100 people, and in 3 hours I can maybe door knock, you know, if it expires, I can door knock like 10 or 20 depending on location. So. Got
it. Do you know your numbers as far as I need to talk to X number of people before I will get an appointment? Do you have a ratio that you're working with right now?
You know, the way that I look at it, for every 20 people I speak with, and keep in mind, my coach is on me to get my numbers better because I'm not good with my numbers. My perfect world goals are for one day, for every 20 people I speak with, I get one appointment or I get 4 people to tell me to call them back at some time. Because what people get all set up on is they want the appointment, it's not about the appointment. It's about the callback or the nurture, as everybody calls it.
Okay.
Because what happens is that if I'm looking at my board, 80% of my expireds are people that I spoke to 6 months ago, 9 months ago, 3 months ago, 2.5 years ago. That's for the money. The money is in the follow-up. And everybody wants immediate gratification. The work you do now, you'll be lucky if you see results in 3 months.
All right. That is a giant red asterisk in your notes if y'all are taking notes. And for me, I'm writing it down too. I mean, that is a big aha because we get so hung up in, I didn't get any appointments. This is too hard. I'm not getting any. You're saying that the win is some sort of connection with these people, some sort of hook, some small fish on the line that you can nurture, follow up. Because why? Because most agents won't do that, correct?
Exactly. They don't. So the thing is, the hardest call is the first call. That's the hardest call. But once 6 months down the road, 99% of people have stopped calling them. So it's just you, and you're staying on, and people will respect that. And when you stay on top and you say you're going to do what you're going to do, and you say, like, when I started, I mean, keep in mind, I moved to New York. I had, like, my wife and I, we, between the two of us, were making $350,000 in Chicago, which is a nice amount of money. I mean, we lived very well. We moved here to be closer to my wife's family because of my child, and we went from making money to nothing living in my in-laws' basement. Okay? And I called starting in November, November, December, January, February. I got nothing, absolutely nothing. But in March, I took 8 expired listings.
From the from the connections you made over the prior 90 days.
Yeah, over the prior 90 to 120 days. So everything you do is 3 to 4 months ago. If you didn't work 3 or 4 months ago, you're screwed. It's just the way that it is. If you stop working now, your fourth quarter is done. Right now, you should not be focusing on now. You should be focusing on building for next year. Right now, all the calls and contacts I make, my goal is January, February, and March. But you're going to have
Go ahead.
Sorry. No, I was going to say, but because of just doing the activity, you will get slam dunks that pop in there. I've had a couple of slam dunks where they say, yes, come list my house. That's the bonus of doing the activity.
That's awesome. I think that's a mindset shift. This is when I wish we were live with people because I'd like to look around on their faces. Is that a mindset shift for guys? Because to me, we're always trying to get the appointment. We talk about that so much, and there is value in that. But there's also, like you said, if I just get 4 callbacks, I consider that the equivalent of an appointment because you're going to convert those people if you just do the follow-up, right?
I'm going to, like, if I look at it in a week, if I get 20 callbacks in a week, that's a good week. And even if I suck and I convert at 5%, that's one listing from that week's worth of phone calling.
Right. Oh, that's great. I love it. What script are you using for expireds? Are you using the Mike Ferry script? Or?
I use my script.
Well, let's hear that. Let's do a little role play.
Okay.
Call me. I'm an expired.
Hi. I'm looking for the owner of 123 Smith Street.
That's me.
Yeah. Hi. My name is Aaron. I'm a local realtor. At this point, you're probably aware your house came off the market. What happened?
I don't know. It just didn't sell.
Okay, fair enough. Well, I mean, I'm curious because I'm looking at it. I mean, how in the world did that property not sell?
It's a great question. I have no idea. We had, like, no showings. It was, it's frustrating.
Okay, well, I mean, believe me, it's frustrating when you sell a house alone, let alone having nobody in the home. It's a very frustrating process. Well, I mean, if you had to pinpoint something, what do you think is the main reason the property didn't sell?
I think this is just a challenging market right now. At least that's what I'm being told.
Definitely. No, I mean, it is challenging, but I mean, keep in mind that if homes are marketed properly, I mean, last week alone, we sold, the listings I've been taking, we've been selling in 7 days lately. So I definitely think there's an opportunity. What my team does, we actually specialize in helping families just like yours. Last year, about 80%, that's 36 families that had their home on the market as long as 1,036 days. We helped to go to contract at an average of 29. How can I help you?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know if we're going to move forward or not. I don't know. We're frustrated at this point. I don't know if we're going to sell it.
No, believe me, it's super frustrating. So, I mean, what changed within the last 24 hours?
Oh, I don't know. I guess just defeat.
Sure,
I don't know.
No. Well, I mean, let me ask you this. I mean, you did have a goal to somewhere you wanted to, and I can't promise you I can get anything done. Yet, if we were able to sell your home, within the price range you want, would you still entertain the thought of selling?
I guess so.
Okay, great. I'd love to stop by and have a conversation. What works well for you, late morning, early afternoon, or Saturday?
Okay. I like that. I like the little bit of the compassion. You were acknowledging my frustration, and I love the line, how can I help you? Mm-hmm. That's unique. Does that seem to work well for you right there on that hook?
It does, because the first thing when I say what happened or how in the world did that property not sell, it's a pattern interrupter. People aren't used to hearing that, so it's like, whoa, wait a second. They're conditioned to answer no, or they're conditioned to answer yes. So that works very well, and I typically get one of 4 responses. They hang up the phone on me because they're just pissed. They say, I don't know, you tell me. They start laughing, or they say my agent sucked. Those are the 4 answers I always get.
Wait, that is hilarious. Go over those again.
They hang up because they're pissed. They tell me I have no idea. You tell me. They tell me my agent sucked, or they just start laughing.
So 3 out of the 4 of those, you're probably going to either get an appointment or at least the ability to follow up, right? I mean, the hang-ups, they're gone, I'm guessing.
Yeah, the hang-ups are gone, but usually I get a unique opportunity to follow up depending on what's going on. So.
That's awesome. How do you deal with the hang-up or the yelling or the people on the other phone? I know that's a big issue for a lot of agents, especially high-I agents, if you're familiar with the DISC, where they don't like to get their feelings hurt. I get. I'm a high-I.
They hate
me. That's right.
Why do they hate me? Why do they hate me? Here's the thing,
That's right.
is if you really wrap your head around the situation here, is because I'm a high I, high D. So if you really wrap your head around it, it's like, okay, let's just think about this from because I like to be sold, like I sell people the way I like to be sold. So let's say, for example, your house was on the market. It didn't sell. It was on the market for 6 months. You needed to go somewhere else. You needed to downsize and get a smaller property because you just couldn't afford to live there anymore. And your house doesn't sell, and the next thing you know, you have 500 agents calling you trying to solicit your business. They're like, where the hell were you guys when the property was for sale? They're pissed off, and they have every right to be pissed off. So the thing is, you've got to understand where they're coming from, and when you come from the contribution, I'm here to help, because for me it's like, for whatever reason they got screwed over, they got taken advantage of, something bad happened, my job is to help, and if they hang up, they're just pissed. They're not pissed at me. This is not like you go to a bar, you go hit on a girl, and they say you're ugly. That's like feeling bad about yourself.
Right.
This isn't rejection. This is someone that never wanted your phone call in the first place. You can't be rejected by someone who never wanted to talk to you already.
That's awesome. I love that. Let me go back to those 4 answers again, because we had a question. I think it's a good one. How do you respond to each of those 4 scenarios? Obviously, the hang-up, well, maybe not obviously. Do you call them back, or do you just let that one go?
I'll put them back for a call back in like 30 to 60 days.
So you won't call them back the next day. You'll wait.
No, God, they're pissed. You got to wait 30 to 60 to 90 days on that.
Okay. And then the one that says their agent sucks, then what do you say?
I'm sorry. I say most agents do.
And then do you go into a selling mode, or do you go into another line of consulting?
Then I just go right into my script. You know what my team does? We actually specialize in helping families just like yours. I just go right into it.
Okay. And what about when they laugh?
I say, no, seriously, I start laughing too. I'm like, yeah, I know, it's frustrating. So seriously, if you had to I repeat the question again. If you had to pinpoint it, what do you think happened?
Okay. And then the 4th one was, I don't know, you tell me, right? Was that the...
No, then what I'll ask you, no, I mean, seriously, what do you think happened?
Okay. So you go right back into that question mode.
I just repeat the question.
Because you're trying to get out of them what?
I'm trying to get something to work off of.
Okay.
Because what happens is once you find that, once you find that little sliver of something, you just kind of, you got something you can open further. And then once you try and, you get that, the marketing was bad. Then I'm going to talk all about marketing.
Okay, good. So you know where to focus. Got it.
Yeah, you're just trying to get that little open.
No, that makes a lot of sense. Do you worry about do not call?
I don't talk about the do not call list. I don't talk about that.
Okay, I don't talk about that. No, that's good. Somebody's asking it.
I get in trouble.
It's a don't ask, don't tell.
Pretty much, yeah.
All right, cool. Let's see, one other question. One of the major objections I get with expireds is the price. How do you address a home that is listed 30% higher than market value? Well, so if you're calling this expired and you know it's overpriced, are you saying anything about that in their call?
No, that's something you need to overcome in person, because what happens is, when you start doing that, don't worry so much about the price. The price doesn't matter. You find that out in the pre-qualification process, and then a pre-qualification, you find out if there's a motivation, maybe they just have a crazy price, but they don't owe a lot of money and they need to be out. Then you address that in listing consultation.
Okay, that makes sense. All right. What, Aaron, what are the top 3 objections you face, do you think, when when calling, can you categorize them? I mean, I know that people are overall pissed and they have different reasons for that, but really, what are you facing when you're dealing with the expired mind?
You know, people are just frustrated, and they just don't want to talk to you.
And why not?
Because they're pissed off. Their house didn't sell. They're getting called by a bunch of agents. They just don't want to talk to you. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. And, I mean, I think the objections are, I mean, I don't get a lot of objections. You know, I really, really don't get a lot because I try and kind of nip them in the bud ahead of time with my scripts. They don't really lend to having objections. Okay, because I only push so far.
Yeah.
I can push somebody super far, but when you got to start doing 3, 4, 5, 6 objections, that's not something you're going to get anyway.
Right, right.
The objection
so when do you give
over.
up?
Well, it depends. You just got to feel out the phone call because I try not to, like the typical objections I get is bring me a buyer. You know, that's to bring me a buyer. I wish I could. That would make both of our lives a heck of a lot easier. Next question. Okay, how did you get my phone number? Google. Next question. So a lot of my objection handlers that I use over the phone are pretty much boom, quick answer, next question. Quick answer, next question. I don't actually handle them. It's more of like push it aside, next question. Do
you say that to them? Next question.
No. I actually ask another question.
Okay.
So no,
okay.
I don't say they'll be like, how'd you get my number? Google. So, you know, what kind of time frame are you thinking about making a move? Something like that.
So you're transitioning right back onto your script and what you want to know.
Exactly.
You're not really giving them any energy on their objection.
No, because, I mean, a lot of them are just conditioned to answer these things because they've talked to so many people. So they're just, you know, just a knee-jerk response.
Sure. All right, we'll do another role-play script one last time. In a few minutes, somebody asked if we could repeat the opening of the script. We'll do one more towards the end.
Okay.
So tell me about this. Once you get the appointment, are you going straight into a pre-qual list of questions, or do you call them back, or what happens on the phone once they say, yeah, I'll meet with you?
Then I just grab their information, I grab their email, I get off the phone, I say what I'm going to do is I'm going to send you over my pre-listing package, my 150-point marketing plan, and then, you know, I shoot it over and I'll give you a call a couple days ahead of time to confirm our appointment. When I call to confirm the appointment is when I do the pre-qual. I basically just do a slightly modified version of a Mike Ferry pre-qualification script. He's got a phenomenal one right now, so, you know, his is very good. And then, you know, when I go on the appointment, I really don't do a whole song and dance and pony show. I have just a conversation with these people. I pretty much go there. My typical listing consult lasts 30 to 45 minutes, and I just have a conversation with people.
So you're not coming with a big routine and a whole process that you're prepared to go through?
Like I do have a process. It just doesn't seem like I have a process. So it's like when I come in there, like I said, I like to be sold the way that I like to sell the way I like to be sold. And if someone came to me with, you know, with a big ass, you know, presentation booklet, I don't want to see that. Nobody wants to see that. They want to like you. They want to figure out you're good at what you do. And if you can instill that in people, you're so much further ahead of the game. I mean, I used to do stuff like that, but, you know, I learned last time I stopped bringing anything with. I'm 12 for my last 13 on listing appointments. I haven't gotten confirmation that I haven't gotten the last one. I was 12 for 12.
Wow. Congratulations. That's great.
Thank you.
And so when you say just conversation and you say it's strategic, is it a script of sorts, or is it a line of questions? Or talk to me a little bit about that. It's
really a line of questions just to figure out what happened. So the way that I look at it is I kind of look at it like when you're a doctor. And you sit, like, picture good, not the doctor who comes in and out, but a doctor sits down with his notepad and he starts asking questions and digging. Tell me more about that. Tell me more about that. Okay, so this. So what happened with this? Tell me more about that. So I'm taking notes down, listening to what they're telling me, and then strategically moving in when I need to move in.
Awesome.
So especially on an expired, I want to know what happened. That's all that I care about is what happened. What happened? Right. What did this look like? What did this look like? What do we need to fix? Where do I need to push? Stuff like that. And I don't, like, you know, so, I mean, that's really been working very well for me lately.
That's awesome. And you know what else you're getting? It strikes me, not only are you getting answers to questions so that you can strategically solve them. But you're also letting that person vent, and now you are their trusted confidant, and you get it, and you listened, and that other agent never listened. And you're kind of accomplishing two goals there with that consultative approach, I'm guessing.
I like that. I never thought of it. Sure, no, it's very true. Then, and after a while, I get to them like, okay, we're not going to talk about this other agent anymore. That never happened. I rip up the listing sheet. And I'm like, that's done. Let's move on.
Oh, that's therapeutic. I like that as well. That's awesome. Okay, good. I love that approach. I think we all try to, I don't know, stick to our agenda so much that we forget that sometimes just connecting with them through questions can accomplish the same thing.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's amazing how little I say nowadays, and it's very hard for me because I'm a big talker, as you can tell. It gets to a point afterwards where I'm closing them, where they've spoken, now it's my time to talk. So I'm like, here's what we're going to do. This is what needs to be had. This is what needs to happen. And they either agree with me or they don't. And I mean, it's interesting because I used to really go for the hard close when I was there. But the cool thing about most of these appointments is they're meeting with like 4 other agents, and I'm getting it after they've already met with 3 other agents. So that means I'm really doing something right.
Yeah, absolutely. That's good. I'm going to dig into a little bit something you told me when we were talking before this webinar, because I think this is extremely unique, and I think probably why a lot of people are on this call, your schedule. So you told me that you work about 7 to 3 every day. I know you're up before 7 and doing your routine, but you head out around 3 or 4 every day, and no evenings and no Sundays. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. And I don't really work Saturday. I work Saturdays by appointment only every now and then. So.
And I just want to dig on that a little bit because I'm going to play devil's advocate. I don't see how you are able to fit everybody into your 1 to 4 in the afternoon schedule and not get, you know, I can only meet with you on Sunday afternoon, or I can only meet with you Tuesday night. I mean, let me understand a little bit about how you position that, or how hard that is.
It's really not. I'll just ask, because I'll work Saturdays, so all my evenings get pushed to Saturdays. So I'll roll out 4 appointments on a Saturday if I need to. But what I'll say is, Monica, what works best for you, late morning, early afternoon, or Saturday?
Well, really the evenings work best for me.
Okay, which evening are you looking at?
Thursday night.
I'm booked solid on Thursday night. You know what I'm looking at here? What time do you get off of work typically?
Like 5 o'clock.
5 o'clock, gotcha. Is there a possibility any day you may be able to scooch home a little early, around like 4? I just want to make sure that the day hasn't beaten you up too bad, and you know, we can actually see it in full light as well. So.
Right. Okay. So you just really do push for that.
Yeah. I mean, I had an appointment when I was doing my lead gen live on there where this lady's like, come list my house on Sunday. I said, can't do it. I'm booked solid for the next 3 Sundays in a row. I said, I can do Monday. And, you know, but I don't have the appointment. I got an appointment with my family. And the thing is, that takes precedence over everything for me. Everything. Mm-hmm. I don't like, because the thing is, if I go on an appointment at 6 or 7 o'clock at night, all I can do is think of, I'm not home to put my kids to bed. And that makes me feel really bad, because I feel like there's a lot more important things in the world. And I think that once you respect your time, everybody else tends to respect it. And, I mean, and keep in mind, I don't work with buyers. So, I mean, I'm 100% listing-based, so I'm able to convert it. And most people will, if they can't meet during the week, they can usually meet on Saturday. Very rarely. And the thing is, what I also realized, by 7 o'clock at night, 6 o'clock, I'm dead. I can't sell my way out of a paper bag.
Right,
and it's
that's
like,
a great point.
The day has beat me up. It's beat me 6 ways from Sunday. I need to be at my best. And I know when my best is, and my best is not at 6 or 7 o'clock at night or on a Sunday. Sunday I want to be home with the kids, or I want to be watching football. And all I'm going to think about is I'm not home with the kids, or I'm not watching football.
That's great. I bet we're getting some cheers out there. If we weren't muted, I bet we were having some hell yes on the line, I think. Who wouldn't want that schedule? I like it.
But you respect your time, other people will as well. My voicemail protects my schedule. My voicemail completely protects my schedule. It says you've reached Aaron Wittenstein. For a quicker response, please email me. If this is about one of my listings, email my listing coordinator. Otherwise, leave a message, and I'll return your call as soon as possible. Please note, if this message is any time after 6 or any time on Sunday, I'll return your call the following business day.
And I witnessed that. I heard it. You're right. It does say that. You know, I had a similar conversation with a top agent here in Cincinnati, and his language that he uses is he says, I'm fully committed that day. He said because he didn't like saying I was booked. I mean, I think it's semantics, but I loved that language, so I thought I'd just throw that out. I'm fully committed, and he just, in his mind, he is. He's committed to his family, just like you're saying, you know, Sunday I'm booked. I'm with my family. But that was some other language achieving the same thing that I liked a lot.
It's amazing how much people respect it. It really is. Like I sat down with a client on Monday that I got a listing signed, and she originally wanted me to come on Sunday, and she says, are you available all the time? I said, I'm available anytime except after 6 or on Sunday. That's when I spend time with my family. She says, I respect the hell out of that.
That's great.
People respect it, and if they're not going to respect it, those aren't clients I want to work with anyway.
Right. Hey, when did you decide not to work with buyers? How did that come about?
Oh, man, this was probably like 6 months into New York. When I moved to New York, I was very buyer heavy. I worked 80% buyers when I was in Chicago, and I just really didn't have a life, and my business was just okay. And I saw Dave Jenks, who co-authored The Millionaire Real Estate Agent, who was in my office, and he mentioned somebody by the name of Russell Shaw, who's in Phoenix, who basically quit working with buyers because they were running around. He let his wife work with the buyers, and he just worked with sellers. I'm like, that seems pretty cool. And I'm like, I really am sick of working with buyers, and I'm like, I can really maintain my own schedule, so I just went cold turkey. I was getting sick of showing people property.
And you just tip them out? Do you have a buyer's agent on your team, or are you just tipping them out as it comes?
Right now, I'm referring them out. I kind of am rebuilding my team right now as I speak. I broke it all down in April. You don't put it this way. I don't suggest building a team when you have newborn twins and aren't sleeping. It's not a good idea. So I'm in process of putting it back together, and I have 2 really good agents that I trust that I refer all my buyer business to.
That's wonderful. That's great. Okay, let's do a final role play, and then we'll circle back to any remaining questions, which I do have a couple lined up here, and I will get to. So if you don't mind, can we just repeat? I'll change up my objections a little bit, but let's do another quick role play. Is that okay?
Sure. Yeah, no, that sounds great.
Okay.
Hi, I'm looking. Now, the reason I say the owner of 123 Smith Street is every now and then you get the wrong name, and you'll never get the wrong street, but if you get the wrong name, you look like an idiot, and there's no coming back from that. So
good point. Good point.
That's the reason I say I'm looking for the owner of blah 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 blah. Hi, I'm looking for the owner of 123 Smith Street.
This is her.
Oh, hi. My name is Aaron. I'm a local realtor. As you're probably aware at this point, your house came off the market. I was just trying to figure out how in the world did that place not sell?
Yeah, it's a good question, and I'm not really interested in moving forward. So
sure. Okay,
thanks for calling. But
oh, sure. No worries at all. But, I mean, I'm just curious. I mean, it's a nice house. How in the world did that place not sell?
I don't know. Apparently, I don't know. We have like probably 100 buyers through here. I have no idea.
100 buyers through? And I mean, if you had to pinpoint something, I mean, what do you think happened?
You know, they said they didn't like, the busy street, and I can't do anything about that. I don't know. It was different all across the board.
Gotcha. So just random things. 100. Okay. Well, what my team does, we actually specialize in selling homes just like yours. Last year, we helped 36 families. It's about 80% of our business that had their homes on the market as long as 1,036 days. We helped them go to contract in an average of 29 when they took our suggestions. How can I help you?
I don't know. I think I'm probably going to relist. I'm just probably going to relist with the agent. She's a family friend, so.
Okay.
I think we'll probably just lower the price, and I'll go back with her.
Gotcha. So your plan is to relist with your agent, who's a family friend?
Yeah, I think
gotcha.
so.
Well, I mean, let me ask you this. I don't want to intrude, but as a business decision, and keep in mind this is a business decision, are you looking to do this person a favor, or are you looking to get the most money for your home? Or actually, in this case, get your home sold? This is a business.
Well, I mean, I think she's good. She's a good agent. She does a lot of business.
Okay. Yet she had 100 people through your home and it didn't sell, correct?
Right.
Okay. So, I mean, let me ask you this, and I'm not trying to knock anybody. I don't know the age and I don't know you, but reality of it is if you have 100 people through a property and it didn't sell, and looks like your house is on the market for 236 days, and you're looking to relist with that same person, I'll ask you again, I mean, it's a business decision. Keep in mind, this is a business decision. Set family and everything aside. Are you looking to do this person a favor, or are you looking to get your home sold?
Yeah, I mean, obviously I want to sell my home. I don't know.
I know, it's hard finding family. But the thing is, here's what I'll say. As a business decision, I think there's an opportunity for me to help. I'm not looking for a commitment by any means, but I'd love to stop by, take a look, have a conversation. What works better for you, late morning, early afternoon, or Saturday?
I can only meet with you on Sunday or in the evenings.
Sunday in the evening. Gotcha. Okay. Sure. Okay. I'll refer you out to somebody else. But, I mean, that's pretty much like, you know, I mean, that's in essence what I do with the family stuff. I just refer it back to a business decision, you know, stuff like that. That tends to work relatively well if you can get their mindset away from being stupid. You know, that kind of fixes it. So.
That's awesome. I love it. All right, let's hit some of these questions here. Do you have the seller sign the agreement at the appointment, or do you send it electronically after the listing appointment?
Oh, if they're signing at the appointment, I have them sign at the appointment. I don't leave anything to chance.
Okay, good. But you do also probably send it electronically under certain circumstances?
If I have to, but I mean, I just usually get it signed and then I'll email them over a copy. So. Okay,
good. All right. Is this being recorded? Yes, it will be available, by the way, everyone. This is being recorded. You can send a note to sales@espressoagent.com, and they will email it to you when it's ready. Doesn't get any easier than that. So sales@espressoagent.com if you would like a copy of this recorded webinar. Let's see. Out of all the expireds you convert, how many buyers are you referring out in a month?
You know what? I'm not sure. That's a great question. I'll get. You know what? I really don't. I don't know the answer to that question. I probably should, but I don't know the answer to that question. Okay.
I heard you say your coach is on you for your tracking numbers.
Yeah, my tracking is horrible. My S and my C for all you disc people is just completely shot. So.
That's awesome. So what are you working on to improve your business? What are your goals that you haven't been able to achieve yet?
Okay, I'm not even close to where I want to be. I mean, last year I did like 13 million. This year I'll do 15 to 17. So I'm well behind, you know, where I want to be. Keep in mind, I mean, I'm in an area where it's, you know, I have a higher price point, but the fallout rate is very high. It's just much more difficult. Attorneys drive me crazy. It takes 6 months to close a deal. So I mean, I'm doing reasonably well in comparison to the market, but I'm nowhere close. I'm not going to be happy till I hit $100 million in volume a year. I won't be happy till I do that.
Awesome. Is there anything, Aaron, that you'd like to add just that you think could help? And then I also want you to mention your Facebook page that you run that is an amazing resource for people, 26,000 followers, I think. So kind of wrap up any thoughts and then drive us to that Facebook page that you run.
You know, I mean, I think a lot of people, you know, people always ask, you know, what's the most important thing that I can give? It used to be just pick up the phone and do something, but I really think that the best thing, and when I tell you guys, I'm telling this to myself because I'm my own hardest critic, is to cut yourself some slack. The reality of whatever you're doing is you are harder on yourself than anybody will ever be. You've got that little I usually use different language on this thing, but he's sitting there yammering in your head about you can't do this, you can't do that, this sucks, you suck, blah, 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 blah. And that is the hardest thing to overcome. But the thing is, if you can find a way to silence that for at least a few moments and just continue on with what you're supposed to do, and just you know what you're supposed to do. Anybody who says different, you know it. It's just a question if you're going to let that little thing on your shoulder overcome you or if you're going to go forth and do it. So just cut yourself some slack. We're not perfect. You're going to mess up. You're going to fail. And you just eventually you'll succeed, and then you're going to fail again, and then you're going to succeed and fail again. It's just the nature of how this stuff goes. So you have to just really appreciate the wins, but not too much, and you can't let the losses beat your ass too bad. That's kind of like where my mind's going today. So
that's great. I love it. That gives us permission to fail, really.
Yeah, I mean, you're okay that you suck. I mean, there's nothing wrong with sucking. You eventually started somewhere. You were really bad at one point. You eventually get okay, and even if you get to average, you're doing a heck of a lot better than most. And it's just, you don't have to be the best. You just have to be the most consistent. And as long as you come in, you do your job day after day after day after day, and you're consistent, you will out-consistency. I know that doesn't make sense, but you will out-consistency everybody else. You don't have to be the best. You just have to be the most consistent.
Well, and you're super focused on your big why, and I know your big why is your family and, quite simply feeding them and providing a certain lifestyle for them, correct?
Exactly, and that's it. And I mean, the thing is that, I think the thing is when people don't want to do something, it's because you haven't defined your why. Your why isn't big enough. When your why is big enough, you will go through a fire to get done what you need to get done. I know my why. And nothing is going to stop me from making that why happen. And it's like if you're not going after that why, especially if you have kids or if you have kids and you're not doing it, I just think it's shame on you because you're being very selfish. And my thing is you're being selfish to one of two people. So you have kids, you take care of kids. That's just what you do. Otherwise, you're being selfish to your future self. Because the thing is that you in the future, if I could go back and kick my own ass for how much I didn't work when I was 19 years old, I would beat the crap out of myself. So then you're being selfish to your future because your future should not have to suffer if you're suffering the way you're suffering right now. You should be setting yourself up for something well. So that's kind of my final words. I know that was a couple different
I love that. I might even challenge, it's hard. That big why is actually hard, and just when you think you have it, there's probably 7 or 8 more layers to peel back. So you say, oh, my big why is my family, and I want to, offer them a lifestyle that enables them to whatever. I might say why. Why is that important to you? There's probably 3 or 4 more layers of that big why even, and that's the biggest challenge for people is really
deep.
Getting to the heart of it.
And the thing is like when you have your surface why, and then you have the why that you can't really tell anybody because it makes you start crying. You can't say it, and like once you hit that, that's when you hit the mother lode. And I mean, it's just like you get there, you know that you've hit something. And that's when it's like, boom, things are just going to go freaking gangbusters once you've done that because you've got no excuses then. You've tapped into it.
That's awesome. Yeah, if you say your big why and you don't have some emotion behind it, it's not your big why probably.
Exactly.
That's a great way to look at that. I love it. So your Facebook page, and by the way, Aaron does live lead generating on this Facebook page most every day, right, Aaron?
I do. Facebook just blocked me temporarily. So I don't know what I did wrong, but I pissed off the Facebook gods. But I usually do it 3 days a week. I don't think I'll be doing it tomorrow. I think I was playing a little too much Guns N' Roses, and I did a copyright violation. But I try and get on there live. But the group is facebook.com/groups/gotobjections. Or you can just type into your search bar lead gen, and it'll pop right up. Lead Gen Scripts and Objections is the name of the group.
Yeah, the full name of it is Lead Gen Scripts and Objections, and it's got a big green header that says LGSO, Lead Gen Scripts and Objections. And it's Aaron's page, and there's a lot of good feedback on there. There's 26,000 agents following you, Aaron. You've built quite a little nation there.
It's crazy, I know. It's absolutely insane.
That's awesome.
It's insane. But we're there to help, and if you guys have anything, come join us. I do consulting as well. Right now I'm full for this month, but if anybody's interested, I do take on new clients at the beginning of the month. So if you're ever interested, feel free to Facebook message me if it's anything you're interested in. So, and they can message you through that page? Yeah, message me through Facebook, and then I'm working on something else really cool that I can't talk about, but it's going to be pretty game changing. So you guys will see some really cool stuff come. So shh. That's awesome. Congrats. Sounds exciting. Can't wait to hear about it. It'll be good. Hey, thank you for your time. Thank you for having me. I hope everybody out there in Espresso Nation enjoyed this, 50 minutes, and I hope you walk away with 1 or 2 nuggets. I mean, that's always the goal here is 1 or 2 nuggets that hit you like a ton of bricks that you can change today and that will help you achieve your goals. That's what we're here to do is help you achieve your goals. So hope you guys have a great day. Aaron, thanks again. Look forward to seeing you sometime soon. Yes, ma'am. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it, Monica. Have a good rest of the day. All right. Bye, all. Thank you. Later. Bye-bye. Bye.